What's up, everybody? Welcome to Chatting with Chapman. I am your host, Andre Chapman Jr., and I have the pleasure of chatting with somebody originally from Booty, Illinois, where her athletic journey began at Meridian High School. She excelled in volleyball, basketball, soccer, and track. Her talent on the field earned her a spot on the varsity rugby 15s team at Eastern Illinois University, where she played for 4 years. During her junior year, she also joined the track team, quickly making her mark by clinching a conference champion. In the summer of her junior year, she embraced the fast-paced world of rugby sevens with Chicago North Shore. Her dedication and skill led her to an invitation to train at the Olympic Training Center. In 2012, she made her World Series debut in Dubai, showcasing her athleticism on an international stage. She has since been a part of USA Rugby and has played in tournaments such as the 2015 Toronto Pan Am Games, earning a silver medal, the 2016 Rio de Janeiro Olympic Games, 2018 San Francisco World Cup, 2019 Biarritz, I think I said it correctly.
Biarritz.
Biarritz, there it is, Biarritz tournament, earning first place gold medal, and that's the first time in USA Rugby history. 2021 Tokyo Olympic Games, 2022 Cape Town World Cup, 2023 Santiago Pan Am's Games, earning gold medal, 2024 Paris Olympic Games bronze medalist, and she has now retired and is living her best life in San Diego, California. Please welcome Lauren Doyle. How you doing?
Good. Yes. Thank you so much for having me. That was a list. Yeah. When you say it
Yeah.
like that, I'm like, oh yeah, I did do that. It's fun. Yeah.
That's awesome. Thank you. Thank you for being here. I tell everybody when I do this podcast that I started this because I wanted to create a space for high school athletes to learn from the best of the best and understand how important it is to intentionally and continuously always work on your mindset. There's so much talk around the physical, how you need to train, what you need to do. There's not enough talk about the mindset. And so this is a chance for everybody to learn what the best do to continuously stay on top. And so I'm happy to be here with you today. And I know this is going to be a great episode.
Yeah. I'm so excited as well.
Yeah. So to jump in, my first question is, what mental skills have been crucial in your progression from high school to college to the Olympics?
Yeah. I mean, that was a long time ago. Yeah, I think in high school, I got away with you're just like talented, right? Like you're just like, athletic, and I didn't have to work very hard. And I wasn't really vulnerable with the sport in regards, or any sport in regards of like pushing myself too hard, because what I naturally was it. Like it was getting me there, you know?
Yeah.
So, high school, but I will say I ran into a good burnout with track in high school. And,
How come?
you know, it was, an individual sport is just different, you know? I felt a lot of pressure. Like in high school, they would announce like the track results, and like, oh, Lauren got first in the 100, or Lauren got second in the 100, and they're like, people were like cranking necks, like, who beat you, you know what I mean? And I'm like, shut up, it was an off day, and so yeah, I had a lot of problems with just like the pressure of track, and I didn't like it. I didn't like losing. I didn't like being beat. I had a hard time looking at it as like an opportunity to get better and to focus in on things. So I kind of was like, oh, I just need to stop doing this. So yeah, I just like quit track, right? I mean, I did it throughout my high school career, but then I was like, there's no way I'm running track in college, right? Because I hate it so much. And so then I got to college, and I got on the rugby team, and I really had to like shift my mindset into nah, you got to start working way harder. You thought you were working hard, you weren't working hard at all. You got to actually do the things and see how far you can go. And and I started looking at it as more as like, oh, what is my real potential? Like, what can I get to, instead of like being comfortable or being complacent with what was already going on. And then I think one of my biggest hurdles in college was my rugby coach was like, you might need to join the track team. Like, you need to walk onto the track team. And I was like, why? No, I'm doing fine. And he was like, yeah, no, I think you should just walk onto the track team and like hone in on your speed. So that was a big obstacle for me to overcome. But I think starting fresh as a junior in high school, in college, there was no pressure. I was like, oh, well, this is kind of fun now. And like, no one expects anything of me. No one knows me. No one and so, yeah, I just came out and like started working hard and trying. And then, I made the 4x1 team, and, I was going to track meets. I was on the traveling team, and, yeah, it was a really cool experience to be a part of. And I finally understood, the mental side of track. Like, oh goodness, that it's hard to just be like, I can't blame anyone else.
Mm-hmm.
I can't blame anyone else for how bad that start was, or my leg drive in that, or how I absolutely puttered off in my 400, like,
Yeah.
So, and that's a really hard sport to just like look into yourself and be like, oh, that wasn't good enough, and you're the only one. So it's not like rugby where it was like, yeah, but remember that scrum that went bad, or remember those people's knock-ons and stuff like that. So yeah, track is a wild sport, and I commend everyone that actually does it for a very long time for their career, because for any individual sport at that. Yeah, and then, jumping into my professional career was another step up. In, you thought you were working hard in college, you got to work way harder now, And so I think it was always like finding that motivation within myself to unlock potential that kept me going most of the time. Obviously it got harder as I was on the team for so long. But yeah, that was kind of like my evolution of my mentality.
Yeah. I think it's hilarious that in high school, it's like, hey, I got to stay as far away from track as possible. This is not what I want to do. And then you get into college and all roads lead right back to track and field.
I know. And the thing was, in high school, I knew that track was the sport that was going to get me recognized. Just because like my other team sports, like we didn't go far, we didn't get past regionals, we didn't do things like that. So I was like, I had a personal trainer for track, and I got exponentially better, but I was not enjoying it. Like I just could not, I wasn't enjoying it at all. I was like, oh my God, the amount of anxiety and stress that I had before a race was, oh, it was.
I understand.
Yeah. So, I understood the importance of it, which is why I did put time into it, especially my junior year, because I knew that was when I was going to start getting recruited and could potentially get looked at college. So, yeah, definitely had track offers and stuff like that, but I ended up going, obviously, the rugby route. So.
Yeah. For when you were in college and your coach said you have to walk on, what was that shift, I guess, mentally, if there was, that made it different from the high school experience to the collegiate experience?
Yeah, I think I was more on board with the idea of it, because I understood that track at college could definitely have benefits. It can definitely make me faster if I'm actually honing in on speed, rather than just going to rugby practice and just trying hard or something, So I definitely got a lot of technical aspects from track, and I kind of had to look at it through like an educational lens of like, what can I bring with me? Oh, I like that drill. Like I should bring that forward, and then to, start seeing results with it. I started running the fastest I'd ever ran. And
Yeah.
I was like, oh, well, this is actually kind of fun, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
so, I think what got me to buy into the idea of doing it was looking at it through a beneficial educational lens of,
Yeah.
okay, let's get into it because we're going to do it. So you
Yeah.
might as
Yeah.
well enjoy some aspect of it.
Yeah, and it sounds like your why got really strong as well too. Like you understood that there's a purpose for this. You mentioned motivation earlier for rugby. How was that shift from collegiate to now? Okay, I have to work harder for the professional route and to make these Olympic teams. What was that shift like for you mentally as well?
I think the shift from college to professional was easy, right?
Hmm.
I was excited. I was like, holy crap, no one told me that I could get paid to play a sport. Like, I didn't think that was an option for me.
Yeah.
Like, especially rugby. Like, I just started playing it. So I was like amped. I
Yeah.
was like, I'm gonna work the hardest. I'm gonna try and be the fastest on the team. Like, and that's just kind of what fueled me for so long. I think what is hard and maybe people don't talk about as much as when you do become a senior player, and then next thing you know, you come back from a break, like
Hmm.
after the 2016 Olympics, or you took a break and then you come back onto the team and you're the oldest on the team,
Hmm.
and you're like, shit.
Yeah.
Like, it comes with different like responsibilities and roles, and you start to feel the pressure again, and it can start to like weigh really heavy on, well, I'm a senior player, I can't mess up,
Hmm.
like what
Hmm.
is that, what kind of message is that sending to people?
Hmm.
But yeah, so I had to work pretty hard on getting through things like that,
Yeah.
with our sports psych guy.
Yeah. How was that? How was like having to deal with that pressure?
Yeah. The pressure is hard, especially. So like I turned into a senior player. I felt like overnight, all of a sudden, and I was like, whoa. And then the coach is coming to me like, hey, I want you to be captain. And I'm like,
Hmm.
what do you mean? Me? Like, I don't really say anything. Like, what do you mean? Why me? And so, they laid it out for me, and I was like, well, that's very nice of you. Thank you. And but I think at first captain was a crippling title for me. I started thinking I needed to be a motivational speaker. And that's not me. Like,
Hmm.
it's just
Hmm.
totally not me. I'm like quite introverted, and I really only speak when it needs to be spoken about,
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, I started just like, if we were down in a game, I started like trying to save the day, and it's just like,
Mhm.
that's not my role. My
Yeah.
role is not to break tackles and do all of these crazy things. Um, my role is to get people organized and distribute the ball where it needs to be.
Hmm.
So yeah, it started to really affect my gameplay, and I was coming to the coach, and I was like, dude, I don't know what's wrong with me. Like, well, I don't know what is wrong with me, you know. And so I had to do, a deep dive of, well, what does make you a leader, and why are you trying to change it? And don't feel ashamed that you're not like this charismatic captain that is all encompassing, that is in the movies. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
I think that
Hmm.
only happens like a fraction of the time. So yeah, I had to really accept who I was, and to like, it's like accepting who you are, but also being open to growth,
Hmm.
and like, okay, no, I can change these things about myself. I can be more open in this. So there was a lot of that type of growth within the captaincy role. And I think I did eventually get there.
Yeah.
So.
That's good. That's good. You mentioned internal pressure. Is there any external pressure that you would say you have to deal with as a professional athlete, um, media, outside comments, et cetera, stuff like that?
Um, Really just the outside. It all comes back to me, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like, oh, my teammates hate me. Oh
Yeah.
my God, they think I'm incompetent. Oh my God, they think I can't make a tackle or catch a ball or things like that. I think that's more my internal dialogue that really gets me going about external factors. But
Mm-hmm.
as for me, like, of course, there's, your articles about the USA is a
Mm-hmm.
one note team. They just have power. They are predictable and blah, 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 blah. And of course, we read those things and we're like, that was kind of harsh,
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
like, I don't agree with that. And I think we just used it to be like, yeah, well, let's prove this guy wrong. He doesn't know us. He doesn't know what we do day in and day out. So
Mm-hmm.
there's definitely things like that. But I know that, some of my teammates do deal with way more. Like, I'm not a big social media presence, and
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I definitely don't care what the people on the internet are
Yeah.
saying.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's of course there's articles that are written about the team that we've read and been like, damn, that's what they think,
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's never, for me, it's never been like a downward spiral. It's always
Mm-hmm.
been like a, well, let's just prove them wrong type of
Mm-hmm.
thing.
Mm-hmm. What I like about that too is it sounds as if there's camaraderie to come together when these type of things happen, and understand that, hey, let's go prove this person wrong. There's no truth in this. Let's not let this affect us. Let's keep going down this path that we know we're supposed to be on. So I like the togetherness of when these type of things happen.
100%, yeah, and like, we'd win a game, or we'd place really high in a tournament, and we'd be like, remember when that guy wrote that about us? And we're like, yeah, I bet he's thinking twice about that one, And
Yeah.
so, it turns into like a little bit of a joke sometimes, but yeah, you're right. Camaraderie is huge in the sport, and I think we had a really good group that was
Yeah.
cohesive there. Yeah.
I want to tap back into something that you said about the internal chatter of, making a mistake when you feel like you're not supposed to make a mistake, and, the fear of being judged, and just, all of the things that athletes naturally think of when they're on a team. How did you deal with that and overcome those?
Yeah, with our sports psych guy, we had to do a lot with that, because rugby sevens is just such a, it's like no other sport I've played, right? It's short. You don't get time to dwell on your mistakes. You don't even really get time to make up for your mistakes.
Yeah.
So we did a lot of like goldfish mentality and focus on the task at hand. That's a big theme that we had. So yeah, I mean, I think as rugby players, we learned pretty quickly, like, if you don't flush something, it's going to then have a chain effect. And then it will actually start affecting multiple people besides just you in that one incident. So I think once we figured out the importance of that mentality, we all really bought into it. And of course, it's way easier said than done, right? You have two mistakes in a row and you're like, I am the worst. And, and your teammates can see it. They can like feel it. And I think what worked for me was me and Kirsch, my bestie on the team, roommates on tour, we would like play like a mini game of rock, paper, scissors, especially if there was like a dead time after, like let's say, you did a knock on or something, or I missed a tackle that resulted in a try or something. We would like play rock, paper, scissors. She would like turn around to me and be like, and then we would go until we won. And it just made me be like, number one, it was a little bit fun, even though I was usually pissed in this situation. But it really just kept me like, I'm going to pick rock next, I'm going to pick paper
Mm-hmm.
next.
Mm-hmm.
So it really kept us in the present moment on like what we were actually doing and what I needed to focus on next, instead of being like, just sitting there at the kickoff, like, wow, I just knocked that ball on, I hope they don't kick it to me again. You know what I mean? So, yeah, it's a lot of staying present and understanding the importance of that, because I mean, and then also how mistakes happen in general is you're thinking about the next thing,
Mm-hmm.
right? And like, let's say I'm just receiving a ball from the back of a scrum. And I'm over here thinking about, okay, if this defender moves this way, I'm going to do the out the back. But if they crack in, I'm going to, I'm going to hit the inline. Like if I start thinking too hard about those things and not trusting like my instincts that I've trained to do all of these things, I'm not going to look at the ball appropriately to receive it. And that's when your mistakes can happen. Either the pass goes bad or I knock it on. So, yeah, just understanding the importance of staying present, I think is huge, especially in my sport.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Essentially mindfulness, right?
Yes.
Mindfulness and staying present is a lot of what I'm seeing in the work that I'm doing with my athletes in these different teams. That's
Mm-hmm.
kind of like the biggest thing, is because, like you said, if you're thinking about what's going to happen, that's taking you out of the moment and it's going to affect the current play. And if you're
Yeah.
dwelling on the past or a mistake that you made, that's also going to negatively impact whatever is currently happening on the field. And so I love the rock, paper, scissors. That's
Yeah.
that's amazing. That sounds like a lot of fun. And it sounds like another way, like you mentioned, to flush out what has just happened, and just kind of like let it go and come back to the present.
100%. And especially within a team sport, I think it's good to be able to communicate because we're so spread out and there's only 7 of us on a gigantic field. We came up kind of with the idea of like a thumbs up. So like I make a mistake, it's acknowledgement that I know that that was my fault,
Mm-hmm.
and letting everyone know like, hey, I'm flushing it. Hey,
Mm-hmm.
I'm good. I'm here. My face may not be saying I'm happy, but like I'm here and I'm good and I'm moving on. So that was something, especially towards the end there, that we really tried to implement. And I think it definitely helped us, especially, if, our wing is way over here and you got people in the scrum over here, it's just like, I got it, And so I
Mm-hmm.
think that definitely helped us all get on the same page and be like, okay, they're good. So I don't have to worry about them.
Mm-hmm. And I feel like it's also a way to, again, camaraderie, and to feel that support from your teammates when you feel like you've made a mistake.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. How do you prepare for high pressure moments and intense competitions like the Olympics and so forth?
I think that we practice it a lot. Um, we practice high stakes situations. We have multiple practices where there is scenarios said to us, and we have to like submerge ourselves in that scenario and then play it. Like, how would you play it? Oh, you lost that one.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we do a lot of that's like the physical slash kind of mental, like, is your brain there while you're really tired type of situation. We do a lot of that. And then just behind the scenes, we do a ton of mindfulness. We do mind gym. That's what we call it. And a bunch of different exercises, and they look different every day. And it might just be for 5 minutes, but if it ends up it puts you in your present moment,
Mm-hmm.
and that's all that they're really asking for, is to be right here in this room and not thinking about abcd, xyz. Yeah, we do a ton of that. We do like a bunch of research on things like that, and we break down games and like, oh, where did it go wrong here, or oh, why was this such a good play? And we look at other teams and how they're handling these situations and stuff like that, so we could mitigate if bad things happen to us, or how we bounce back from mistakes or momentum shifts within a game. Yeah, we just do a lot of like prep, and we incorporate it into training. But man, it's really hard to replicate the Olympic pressure.
Yeah,
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 it really
absolutely.
is. And I think, we got like real lucky there with how senior our squad was, in
Mm-hmm.
regards of they had been, like most people, this was their second Olympics.
Mm-hmm.
But in the same regard, like Tokyo wasn't like, it wasn't
Yeah.
what this one was. So it was kind of like the first for everyone, but still we had been there, and we felt the expectations and the pressure of the whole tournament. So yeah.
How did y'all deal with that?
Well, I mean, I think like the big thing that happened in Paris was that we got our same quarterfinal draw that we did in Tokyo.
Mm.
And in Tokyo, we lost against GB. And it was catastrophic. Like, we did not have a good time. We had a horrible time during that. Bad game. You know, we had a rain delay. The ball was wet. We just like were so off our game, right? I mean, lots of things happened that, you know, were in our control, and we didn't capitalize and stuff like that. So I think once we drew GB again in Paris, we were like, yeah, we love this. This is what we've wanted. You know, it was a little bit of like talking yourself into that, like, yes, this is our revenge game. We finally get it just exactly, you know, it's like replicating the same thing. And we talk about a lot about like history doesn't repeat, history instructs. So like we're going to make it what it is, and we can only control what we can control. And so, yeah, when we got that draw, there was obviously that thought of like, oh my God, it's going to happen again. Oh my God, like GB's a good team. It's going to happen again. But I think, you know, given our just experience as a team, as a squad together, the general consensus was like, this is awesome. Like, this is what we've been waiting for. We've waited 3 years for this exact thing to happen again. And when we went into that game, it was a rocky start. I'm not going to lie. It was not looking good. and then, you know, we just like flipped it, and we got the job done, and we did it. It wasn't pretty, and that's usually how most of our games are, but we did the job. And yeah, when we won that game, we were just like, oh my God, like you felt like physically felt pressure come off of your shoulders.
Wow.
Yeah, but to be able to stay in that game and focus, even though like literally right off the jump, we got held up in a mall, and it, you know, it was there, and then it goes to their ball. We had another huge break down the sideline, get tackled, knock the ball on, you know, so there was a lot of moments where we could have definitely spiraled and went down. But I think just like the grit and determination and passion that we had been focusing on that whole cycle really showed in that game. And yeah, it was pretty amazing.
I can imagine, even though those reps at practice where they create the intensity may not have felt as, you know, intense as the Olympic game, but I'm sure those moments helped a lot to be able to handle some of that pressure in that moment. The mindfulness game, all of the work that y'all have put in the background probably really came to the forefront in that game.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, once the game gets rolling and the game gets going, it's like, oh, we're playing rugby. Like, that's what we're doing. We're just playing rugby. And then your instincts start to kick in, and you're like, oh yeah, we've been in this situation before, you know?
Yeah.
And so I think it, yeah, it just makes it go smoother when it's, when that mentality side kicks in, and you only get that by practicing all these scenarios, especially when you're fatigued.
Yeah. Yeah. I heard a saying that I now share with all my athletes is, you don't rise to the level of competition, but you fall back to the level at which you practice. And so
That's fair.
yeah, all that hard work that y'all put in was evident in that game.
Absolutely.
Can you share a time when you were mentally in a slump and how you overcame it and recovered?
Yeah, I mean, it's happened a few times. But I can speak to a time. It was towards the end of my career. So I'll just like paint the picture. But 2022 World Cup, Cape Town. I played like every minute of every game. I'm captaining the team. I'm very much involved in all the decision making, everything, feeling very involved, right? I dealt with an injury right after World Cup. It was like a partially torn plantar fascia. So I was out for 3 months, like down and out. Like I couldn't do anything. And obviously within that time, the season had started. So I missed the first couple of tournaments. And I come back and I am just like so off my game. And I am deeply in my head. And I'm like, why can't I pass the ball? Oh my God. It's like my one skill that like that has never failed me, you know, and I had to really like break it down and so I went ever since World Cup, I fell into a role of okay, you're just finishing games. You're just gonna get 3 minutes. And I was like really struggling to find my worth and I was like, I don't know why I'm captain. I'm not on the field, you know?
Yeah.
And I had a really hard time, I think, that year, that 2022-2023 season of like, where do I fit in? Like, and I had a really dark time of just like crying and being like, where did it all go wrong? Where has my role changed so deeply? And so, you know, I started talking with our sports psych and our coach, Emily, and I was like, I need to understand why I'm now in this situation, because I'm a person that if I don't understand why the role has shifted so well, I'm having a hard time placing that it's not just my skill that is making me not play what I used to play. And she's like, no, it has nothing to do with your skill. You're totally fine. She's like, Lauren, like we're developing people. And I'm like, okay, like that's all you had to say to me. Yeah. So I started to, you know, like find the worth again and be like, I am old and I am retiring in a year. And being like, I'm going to develop the next fly half. Right. And I mean, Kayla Kinnett is an amazing player. Like she's great. And so I just kind of was like, okay, I need to make sure Kayla's great. I need to make sure she knows the plays that we're running. I need to make sure that she knows all the things that go into prep as a fly half. And I started really embracing that role and understanding that closing out games is actually really important. And I actually have to have a deep level of understanding of what we're trying to do throughout the game. Are we trying to push the pace? Are we trying to slow it down? What plays are we going to run right now that's going to make us the most effective? Do we need to score a try right now? How much time's on the clock? Who are we playing? Like all these things like have to go through my head while I'm also analyzing what's actually happening on the game. So once I started like realizing that, I started enjoying it more. And when I started enjoying it more, my skill level started to come back up and I wasn't so like crippled by like, I suck. And I just started to embrace that role and understand the importance of it and understand what Emily's trying to do, and still knowing that just because I'm not on the field like I was, like I still have a knowledge base that's beneficial, and I can still talk to people like the girls after the game and tell them like that was an amazing fight, that was exactly what we needed, or hey, we need to get our heads out of our, you know, and bring it next game. So that was definitely a time where the mental side was really starting to get to me, and like it could have easily just completely broken me all the way down. But I think having that open line of communication with coaches is so important. And for me to be able to go to her and be like, I don't understand what's happening, you know, is a huge part, because sometimes with coaches, there's that fear and anxiety of like, we don't talk to the head coach, you know what I mean? So, and there's definitely been coaches like that in the past on the team, but Emily is just like really great in that regard. She's a very open person, and I think that is truly why I was able to break through to this. So
Yeah.
Hopefully
Shout out.
coaches watch this.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Shout out to Emily. Creating that open line of communication for your athletes can make the world of a difference when there's situations that they just can't seem to fathom or understand. And having
Yeah,
that coach that's there to be kind of like a life rod is important.
absolutely.
Yeah. And credits to you for having the courage to go talk to your coach about this, right? Because this was I can imagine very heavy and very difficult to deal with. And so, you're seeing a shift in essentially your life because rugby is your life. And so you're kind of like having to understand, well, if I'm not
Yep.
playing, what's my worth? What's my role? What am I supposed to be doing here?
Yeah.
And I just know how difficult and challenging and how that could put you in a dark place. And so having the courage to go and reach out and say, hey, I do need help. I do want to figure out what's going on here is no easy thing to do.
Yeah. I mean, 100%. Like I said, it could have went south real quick for me. And
Mhm.
I'm just so glad that Emily is who she is. And I was able to communicate with her.
Yeah. One of the things that I also admire in that story is the shift in the perspective that you had and understanding that you're 100%, like let's say last season is not necessarily going to be the way your 100% this season looks like, but let me lean into this season and what this is supposed to look like and find the purpose and the meaning in it. And in some regard, not in some regard, it is that your 100% that season was just as important as your 100% last season. It just looked different than how you expected it to look or how you may have wanted it to look.
Yeah, I think that part of being an athlete, like at a higher level, is like a deep understanding of like self-awareness. And we can't live in delusional land over here. You know what I mean? Like you have to really like be able to look at yourself and your skill and be open to feedback and always constantly be evolving and never stay in that complacent piece because that's just it's not going to get you anywhere. So self-awareness is just, I think, really huge when it comes to the sport. And that doesn't mean like you should always be down on yourself. No, that's not what that means. That doesn't mean you're so aware of your mistakes. It just means like you're so aware of the whole picture, how
Mhm.
you're fitting in, how your skills are, of course, like all of those things
Mhm.
really can set you apart from the group. So,
Yeah. Yeah. If you could give your high school self advice on the mental side of the sport looking back, what would you say?
oh goodness. Okay, I would tell myself that I have to start staying in the moment, and I would tell myself that when you're feeling pressure, it it's a good thing, and you have to start flipping it into be a good thing. It's good to be beat sometimes.
Mhm.
Like you can't
Mhm.
just stay at the top all the time. So yeah, I think that would be my biggest thing is learn how to flip pressure into opportunities instead of letting it cripple you. Because I probably could have went a lot farther in track.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So
Yeah.
I do this thing called rapid fire questions where we have 30
Yay.
seconds to answer these
Whoa.
last five questions. And
Okay.
I'll start the clock right after I answer the first question or I ask
Okay.
the first question.
Got it.
Let me put 30 seconds on the clock. Okay. You ready?
I guess, yeah.
Let's do this. All right. What is your go-to pregame hype song?
Oh gosh, I'm so bad at titles of songs. We do that one that's like, just skip it.
Okay. What's your favorite cheat meal?
Cheat meal? I cheat all the time.
Okay.
I love McDonald's. That's
There
my
we
cheat
go.
meal.
What's your favorite off-day hobby?
My dogs and my fish and my plants.
If you could relive one moment from your career, what would it be?
Scoring a hat trick against New Zealand in 2015.
And I'm gonna still ask you the next one, even though we ran out of time. But what is the best advice you've been given?
the best advice I have been given is definitely by the sports psych side of things, of like, you have to start staying present or you're just going to be making dumb mistakes. So yeah, definitely the staying present thing. And the hype song, gosh darn it, man, I am so bad at song titles.
How
But
does it go?
before every game, we listen to shots.
Okay.
And because we have to take this, it's a catalyte mixture,
Mhm.
and it's just like electrolytes essentially, but like in a really condensed version. So and it doesn't taste very good. So to get ourselves hype, we sing like the first portion of the shots song. And
Yeah.
shots. Yeah, everybody. Anyway, and then we take it. So yeah, that is technically like, I wouldn't say it's our hype song, but we listen to it every single day before every single game. That was it. So it needed to be my hype song.
There we go. I've never heard that as a hype song, but that is now my new favorite hype song.
Yeah, well, it's definitely an interesting one.
It is. It will get you turned up. That's for sure.
That's so true. It did its job. So yeah, that was
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Well, Lauren, I thank you so much for being here today and sharing your knowledge and your information and your wisdom and your insights. Before we close, is there anything that you feel you want to say that you may have not had a chance to say?
I just think like, no matter what stage you're at or like what stage you get to, like, always know that you are worthy and you're even bigger. You're more than just the sport. Yeah, I think that's a big one because it's what I'm struggling with right now.
Oh, oh. Well, I'm sending you lots of love in this
Thank you.
journey of retirement. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And you are more than a rugby
Thank
player.
you.
So
Thank
for that
you.
too. Yes. Thank you, Lauren. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you so much.
All right. Take care.
All right.